Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to a brand new Call of Duty Warzone video on the channel. This one is sort of ties in with our beginner tips sort of series. I don't know, I think I'm going to do one of those. But yeah, today we are talking about how to drop in the fastest. If you're finding that you're like dropping in, you think you're the fastest, but there's always a couple of dudes ahead of you, I'm going to explain why, how you can get faster, and how to understand sort of the drops. There's quite the technicality to it, as well as a couple of optimal methods based on the distance that you have to travel. If you're really getting into Warzone, or you're just kind of looking up YouTube videos as a refresher to try get better, this is definitely the channel for you. Make sure you subscribe, and of course drop a like if you find this video useful. We have a beginners tips video that is getting a lot of traction. A lot of people are finding it really useful if you want to check that out as well. And yeah, enough about me. You came to find out how to drop in the fastest. Let's go on through it. So there's two things I want you to note that I think you already know, but if you're new to the game, you maybe do not. When dropping in off the plane or the helicopter now in the new season, if you head straight towards the ground, like 50 meters above the ground, depending if it's not a hill or a roof, your parachute is going to auto deploy. But in some of these methods that we use, you manually deploy your parachute early, and once you manually deploy your parachute, the auto deploy kicks off. So you do need to redeploy before you hit the ground. It's a pretty basic tip, but a lot of people still forget it. Especially if you're racing to a contract, you don't want to break your legs on the way. The second thing to know is no matter what, the plane, or in this case once again the helicopter, is always going to be faster than you dropping out of it. I feel like that's common sense, but if you're dropping somewhere on the plane route, make sure you use the plane route to get there as fast as possible. You don't want to jump straight down and head straight down, but you want to stay in the plane as long as possible. A good marker for something on the plane route is about 700 meters. And that works for either side of it as well. Now I want to just give you a tiny bit of information you might find useful as well. On the actual mini-map, well, not the mini-map, the other mini-map, each of these grids is exactly 375 meters by 375 meters. Meaning when you're looking at somewhere to go, you got to calculate the plane route, and each square then is 375 meters in whatever direction. So if you have something 4 squares away, you know that's 1,500 meters. Quick maths. So the example right here then, from the plane journey where it kind of intersects the horizontal of where I'm going to be jumping for my contracts here, we know it's going to be about 2.5 boxes, or about 1,000 meters, roughly, probably a bit above that, and that is where we're jumping. So the optimal method right now for anything really under 1,000 meters is the cut and redeploy method, which means you're aiming pretty much above it, angling yourself like looking above wherever you're trying to land, and you're cutting and redeploying. Using the marker on the side, you want to get about 50 or 60, and you want to basically redeploy and then cut again, redeploy, and this will kind of give you a perfect landing. You do have to keep trying this. Obviously I kind of redeployed quite early, but obviously if it's a shorter distance, you're gonna angle yourself different and then judge it from there. Obviously I had to cut and redeploy about 3 or 4 times at least here. When on shorter drops, so 500 and 600 meters, you won't have to. So you might be asking the question, why do you have to cut and redeploy? It's the thing that you have to maintain height to travel the furthest distance. Now that seemed like a bit of a struggle for 2.5 squares. What if you have to travel over that? Am I just going to hover in the air for ages? The answer is no. The answer is also just as fast, and I'm going to show you sort of this example right here. So for the purpose of this experiment, I'm actually just jumping off prison. Obviously no two plane journeys are identical, let alone getting them in a row if they are. So this distance is about 350 meters, roughly 330. So as I jump and flow towards that, I'm literally pushing myself forward. I'm not even cutting and redeploying, but it is taking its time trying to dodge the trees here. And basically once I reach this garage, it's about 19 seconds from the original jump, which is a long time. I know it's on a small scale, but watch when we compare it to this one on the exact same scale. So from here we jump and use the horizontal method, which is basically when you turn yourself to the side and push your character to the left while holding this pose pretty much. And we actually pass the garage here at 17 seconds, which seems faster, but you do have to remember that you have to then drop that height and redeploy so you don't take fall damage. So it's going to be over 2 seconds. Now this bridge up here was kind of rude, it kind of blocked us, but what I am trying to say is it will take you a further distance because it maintains height a lot better. So in terms of speed, what you really want to do is anything under, I'd say 1,100, because like that's the max. As you see in there, I had to cut and redeploy a lot on the original where I was going for the contracts. And on short distance there, like just 350 with not a lot of height to jump from, just the manual sort of push without the cut and redeploy was much better than the horizontal method. But just say you get a topside plane journey when it goes like directly across the top of the map and you want to go all the way down to downtown. That is when you would use this horizontal method. Anybody who isn't using this trick is going to be manually deploying or just hovering in the air waiting for ages, and you're always going to beat them to a long distance objective. As you can see, I use this method once again. So what you basically do is deploy your parachute straight away. You turn 90 degrees to the right or to the left of where you're trying to land, and you basically just push that way then. So your character is going sideways. I have it open on free look here just to get it. We cover 1800 meters very easily. I'll just show you the start of it again. Everyone's kind of heading down, and when they do parachute, they're a lot lower than us. So even when you maintain this height and everyone's below you, then you can head sort of straight down and you gain a lot of speed and you're always going to beat them. That's for long range drops. It's pretty much an easy method. You will always win. On the shorter ones, you kind of have to get used to the boxes and when to cut and redeploy. 700 meters is always what I see streamers, like big streamers like Nick Merckx and Symphony and stuff like that. That's kind of the sweet spot, and they always aim for ground but then end up parachuting onto a roof. So if you're aiming straight for a ground, you parachute about 30 meters above it, and then you aim straight for a roof, you land on the roof pretty much instantly. There is a trick to it. And yeah, they are the main sort of tips on how to drop faster. Unfortunately, I can't drop for you. You kind of have to learn the shorter distances. The longer distance is very, very easy, as you guys seen, but with the longer distance, you kind of have to take all the tips on board. Quick summary, the plane is always faster than you if you are dropping somewhere pretty much one box away from the plane route. 700 meters is the sweet spot. Use cut and redeploy all the way up to 1100 meters, and anything over that, always use horizontal. That is pretty much the video. I hope you all did enjoy. I know it was a long one, but now you know everything. You can take all that into your next few games of Warzone. And yeah, that is pretty much it for me. I hope you all did enjoy. Once again, peace out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in another video very, very soon.